What's up, everybody? Emperor John Keel 3D Gaming here, and Predator Killer of Killers, the new Hulu Predator anthology film, which is set within the same universe as the Predator films. And if you want to get technical, the story is Prey, Predator, Predator 2, Predators, The Predator, upcoming Predator Badlands, and this anthology film. So, Predator has been slowly rising back to prominence due to the success of Prey, and now the success of Killer of Killers, and I hope to God that Badlands is the badass Predator film that I want it to be. But, Predator Killer of Killers takes place across 3 different time eras. We're talking Viking, Samurai, and a World War II soldier, and as the movie goes on, you're beginning to wonder, how can these 3 warriors exist at the same time? Well, due to seeing it, it also has that old style of showing and not telling, and everything is easy to understand. Now, don't get me wrong, at an hour and 40 minutes, the pacing is a bit rushed in places, but, you have to understand why we have to get through each of these 3 characters. Personally, my favorite is the samurai story, showing that Predator, that samurais, oh, of course a Viking can fight a Predator because you got 2 brutes against each other, but the samurai, with their elegance in swordplay, and you only really got to see what it was like to see a katana-wielding Yakuza in the 3rd Predator film, Predators, taking on a Yautja called Falconer, who was considered a bad blood, but he decided to fight in one-on-one sword combat as a form of honor. And that's actually really something that you don't think about. 2 characters that are disgraced from their heritage and clans fighting one honorable duel. Now, that falls in line with this film. With this film, I want to start off with the Viking story. I really felt like the Viking story could have been done a lot more better, but I do like that it falls in line with, of course, how these things go, how the setup goes. You have somebody that the Predator takes notice of, that they're impressed with, and that they want to fight, and they will basically cause all havoc, or hunt down your team, or hunt down people close to you, or comrades, until the Predator can get to you. The Viking, though, the Viking storyline felt like it was the most fast-paced, like you're going from point A to point B, like point to point to point to point to point, but I understand why, due to how the story is structured. Now, the samurai one, though there is not a lot of dialogue, it has that old Conan the Barbarian, like an opera feel. It's like you're seeing the story through the characters' actions, and it's only necessary to hear, like when they do speak, it is something of importance. And the more you go on, you're like, okay, we kind of, hit all. I know a lot of people like the Viking story, though, and the Viking story is a strong start. I'm still not going to take that away from it. It is a strong start. I just wish that it was structured a little bit better. It could have been structured better. Now, the samurai story with the 2 brothers, one claiming the throne, and the other one becoming almost like a Ronin, basically, a Ronin ninja. And they not only fight each other, they have to fight this hunter, and it shows that you can see how Predators learn and adapt to fighting specific targets, because Predators and ninjas are very similar in a lot of ways. They stalk their prey, they get into the position they need to get in, then they execute their attack. And then when it comes to sword-on-sword combat, now, the only thing the Predators kind of do in this one, but I can understand, these are different clans of Predators. These are different types of Predators. And what we know in the lore established in not only the 3rd film, but the 2018 movie that established that other groups of Predators, they fight each other. So the entirety of the Predator race is probably not even under the same banner or the same coalition, so to speak. You got different Predators, like the one from Prey, he's from what a lot of people think is a desert wasteland Predator tribe. And the Predator, the jungle hunters, and the city hunters, and the Predators we know come from what is like the main Yautja society of hunters. And then you have the Bad Blood Society, you have these Berserker societies. It's just, there's a lot of variations of Predators. But these Predators in this movie do look freaking cool. The one that takes place in the Samurai era, he's my favorite design, and they will also be coming to Predator Hunting Grounds, which is the footage you see being used to at least represent Predator in the best way I can without like showing clips from the film. Now, the final story of the movie is the World War II soldier, which I thought was going to be kind of iffy because I'm like, okay, this is basically, we're now closer to the contemporary setting, but how can you make a Predator fit in World War II? I never thought about it. But this movie proves that this should have stayed in animation because there's a lot of unrealistic things in the World War II section, but that's the most fun story with that pilot who takes on a Predator in the sky. That's freaking cool. That he used a World War II plane to fight a fucking Yautja in the sky. If they would have did that in live action, a lot of people, I mean, I would have liked it, but then a lot of people would have said, oh, it would have been too unrealistic. But we're talking about fucking alien hunters that take our spine as trophies, and us as humans being able to fight them on equal footing and equal ground. That, come on, that's still unrealistic. A lot of us would probably die to the fucker in 2.2 seconds. Maybe 1.2 seconds at that. But here, a lot of the stories, and then you get to realizing that these stories are all coming together by the end of the film. Now, this is going to be some spoiler warnings. Now that I did a brief summary of each of the characters' storylines. Here is a spoiler, but if you've seen the movie, oh great. But if you didn't, tune out now, or at least mute, just so you don't have to hear this part. But all these characters are being rounded up. Predators bring the most worthy prey, apparently, to their world to fight in an arena against creatures. Kind of like a gladiatorial arena in the Roman Colosseum. Like, imagine a Roman Colosseum but Predators. Then the Predator King wants to fight the survivor. He wants to fight the person, because then that proves that that is a worthy challenge. But then the three characters team up to take on the Predator King. That is something that was wild, and it even threw the Predator off. The Predator at the end of the film, the Predator King himself, the Yautja King, even was like, you know what? We're not going to kill them. Let the ones who escape. We ain't going to kill them. They fought valiantly. They even fought me and they lived. The only person who didn't get away was the Viking woman. Though she was injured, the Predators put her in stasis. This is how it shows you how you can bring characters from different eras of time and have them in settings that are not familiar to them. Because the biggest tease at the end of the film, it does tell you what happened at the end of the Prey movie. The Predators themselves saw Naru, the Comanche woman, brave enough and powerful enough and worthy enough to be taken to their world for fighting. She's also in stasis. This opens the door to like so many anthology movies that you can make about Predators. I think that you should do the main stories of Predator movies in live action and do these anthologies in this animated style. This would help flesh out so many things. It could probably help even correct continuity errors that people believe exist, because sometimes when there's a continuity in the Predator universe, it can be explained away by certain dialogues and everything like that. But I think that would be the best way. And by my understanding, obviously, the new Predator movies, and the same thing with upcoming Alien Earth and Alien Romulus had come out, it seems that they're really trying to build up to a Aliens versus Predator film. And by what I'm hearing, that Predator Badlands is the gap in the bridge point to lead into an AVP film. This could be so amazing for the Predator franchise. Why? Because this could be a way to bring Arnold Schwarzenegger back if he wants to do it. You could say the Predators found Dutch and they froze him. You could say they froze Danny Glover. You could say they froze McKenna from 2018, that they froze Isabel and Royce from the Predators. You could have a squad of these characters, of warriors from different eras in time, different fighting backgrounds, different ideologies to combat. You could bring them, awaken them in a future that's the future setting timeline where AVP comics and video games take place. And you can have this new Predator, I haven't seen Badlands, so I don't know his name. All I know is I'm going by what the internet's calling him. He's called the Runt Predator because he's a young blood. He's a very young-blooded Predator. So you can have him be the allied Predator. You can have characters from the other movies return into the future and form a Colonial Marine squad. Imagine a colonial squad, a squad of colonial fucking Marines of Dutch, Naru, the Samurai, the fucking World War II soldier, the Sniper McKenna, the Mercenary Royce, the Sniper Isabella. You know, all these characters who don't know each other but have to come together to fight. You know, I could see that, yes, they could have beef with the Predators at first, but maybe through this Runt Predator, the humans and the Predators can form an alliance against the Xenomorphs. That would be the best way to redeem AVP, you know, outside of the video games and the comics, because though a lot of people don't like the first two movies, I like the 2003 one because it does give you what you want. You do fight, you do have 3 Predators versus aliens. It did set out what it was going to do, but the story around it wasn't structured all that well. Requiem was a fucking mess. The only thing that came out of it was the Wolf Predator and him fighting the Predalien. You know, and hell, you could probably bring back the Predalien storyline and do it correctly to make that the foe that the 3 team, like that a Predator team and a Colonial Marine team have to take on, and you have a Predalien and a Queen ordering the Xenomorphs to attack and fight back. You know, there's a lot of potential here going forward now with the Predator universe, and all because of this animated film. If you have Hulu, I recommend going to watch it immediately. It's rare when I say a film is just, it's close to being perfect, though there's still some hiccups there and there, but the good in this film outweighs any of the nitpickings or the negatives or anything that might be, you'll be like, you know, what, you know, does this get answered, does this get, you know, it's there. Things can be done going forward. Predator Killer of Killers, I highly recommend it. I enjoyed the film. If you've seen the film, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't, I'm sorry for the spoilers, but go check it out. This is Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, and I'll see you all in the next video, the next review, or the next live stream. I hope you all take care, and I will see you all next time.